Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Morning, 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. It's time for the best 60 minutes of your life. This is the Homer Hour, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Here's Emmy Award winner, Homer.
The best 30 minutes. No, it's not 30 minutes yet. The best 60 minutes of your day, the Homer Hour, and Wednesday it's the busy Homer Hour. Rainman. Caller number 5, 1-800-990-3776. Caller number 5, and you will be the contestant for Rainman, in which you have a chance to win cousin subs for a year worth about $300, and you automatically get a $25 gift card to Cousin Subs. Rainman, 1-800-990-3776. Caller number 5. Then Jason Wilde to talk about the Green Bay Packers and whatever has been said most recently by LaFleur, Goody, or any of the players or any of the coaches. Sadly, Tom Clements is stepping down as a quarterback's coach or whatever the particular position or whatever his job was, but very important to the development of the quarterbacks. And Tim Van Voren, Fox 6 Sports, who 100% perfectly, like John Anderson, analyzed the Packers correctly for the entire season, and they were exactly what TVV said they were, and as a result, the season is over. 1-800-990-3776. Caller number 5. And we do have a contestant, right, Pebble?
We do indeed. It's Joe in Milwaukee.
Joe in Milwaukee. You're on 94.5 ESPN. Your Rainman resume, please.
My Rainman resume?
Yeah, have you ever
I'll
done
be honest, Homer.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
We would have assumed your honesty. No, I mean, have you ever done it before? You've never done it before. That's your Rainman resume. Have you ever practiced and listened to the segment before?
Not this one, no.
Whoa, okay. Pebble, would you like to? You have 15 questions. You have 2 minutes to do so. Pebble will tell you what to do. I used to, but no one listened to me, and I'd prefer that no one listened to Pebble because he'll tell you the same thing.
So, Joe, you have 15 sports questions in 2 minutes. You got to get through all 15 in 2 minutes, so don't dilly-dally any of the questions. If you don't know the answer, say skip or pass. Homer will come back to it. So, yeah, that's pretty much about it.
All right, let's go.
What would you say the average is for a first-time contestant? 4 maybe?
4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah, 4 or 5. The first question, by the way, Joe.
By the way, Mike in Lake Mills is our current leader with 5.
Excellent, because we've had only one contestant.
Correct,
to
yes.
this
He was
point.
our first contestant of the new year.
And Rainman, our great partner, Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service, and they've been doing it well for over 50 years. A phone number you can remember. All you got to do is remember 783. Because it's 262-783. Roger Maris, 6161.
That number again, 262-783-6161.
And also our other great partner, Cousin Subs, because you, Joe, automatically get a $25 gift card from Cousin Subs, even if you stink. I'm not saying you will, but you automatically get that. And I don't think we've ever had a first-time contestant win the competition, so you could be the first ever that as well, because whoever has the greatest total of the 15, and that would be at the end of June, they would win Cousin Subs for a year. And if we have a tie, then we arbitrarily, just randomly pick the winner. This last competition, the winner was because the final 2 numbers of the phone number were closest to the jersey of Coop for the Packers. All right, Joe, you got it. First question again is the Saganiac Planning Marquette trivia question because Saganiac Planning is such a great supporter of Marquette. You ready to go?
Go.
3, 2, 1, go. In the 93-94 season, who coached Marquette to the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament?
Tom Crean.
Incorrect. Name an NFL team where Ohio State football coach Ryan Day was an assistant.
San Francisco 49ers.
Correct. Notre Dame coach Marcus Freeman was a fifth-round pick as a player of what NFL team in the 2009 draft?
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Incorrect. True or false? My grandson Ugo has exactly the same birthday as Jordan Love. True or false?
True.
Correct. How old is Jordan Love?
Jordan Love is 26.
That's correct. Of the last 2 seasons, in which season did Jordan Love have the highest quarterback rating? Not that stupid ESPN QBR, but NFL quarterback rating. In which season was it better, 23 or 24?
24.
Correct. He is the best free throw shooter in the NBA this season.
Damian Lillard.
Incorrect. What's the Bucks' record?
21-14.
Incorrect. How many NBA titles for Doc Rivers as a head coach?
0.
Incorrect. How many NBA titles for Doc Rivers as a player?
0.
Correct. How many Coach of the Year awards for Doc Rivers in the NBA?
1.
Correct. How old is the Brewers' Jackson Cheerio? Or excuse me, the Brewers' Jackson Cheerio.
He is 20.
Correct. Jackson Cheerio's batting average last season within 10 points.
294.
Incorrect. Brewers' career batting average. He's number 1 at 307.
Cecil Cooper.
Incorrect. Brewers' career stolen base stealing percentage, 88.37, and he's on the current team.
No, it's Terang.
Terang's correct. Brewers, now, I don't know, do we keep going, Pebble, or are we out of time?
We're out of time.
Okay, but does he get the Terang one because we started it? I don't know what the rule is.
No, because we ran out of time, so you didn't get back to it in time.
You didn't get it in time.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 7.
I have 7 as well.
Yes, the first timer as the lead. I don't think this has ever happened before. Nicely done, Joe. Now we'll know if you feel bad. Brewers' career best ever home run every 14.9 at bats.
Every 14.9 at
best
bat.
ever. Most people, no one ever got a home run ever 14.9 at bats for the Brewers. Everybody else was more than 15, at least.
I think I know. Is it Richie Sexton?
Richie Sexton is a correct answer, and you're right. Bryce Terang is the best stolen base stealing percentage, barely ahead of Christian Yelich. So that kept you from getting to 7 to 8.
And that would have.
That's all
That
right.
would have been 8, and I think the Doc Rivers one that I got wrong. He's got at least 1.
All right, we'll go through them. In the 93-94 season, he coached Marquette to the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament.
Kevin O'Neill.
Kevin O'Neill is correct. Name an NFL team where Ohio State football coach Ryan Day was an assistant.
The Eagles.
Philadelphia and San Francisco. Joe, you said San Francisco, right?
He did, yes.
All right, and Notre Dame coach Marcus
that's
Freeman was a fifth-round pick of what NFL team in the 2009
The
draft?
Chicago Bears.
Chicago Bears is correct. Yes, my grandson Ugo, his birthday is November 2nd. The birthday of Jordan Love is November 2nd. You got that correct. How old is Jordan Love? 26. And yes, quarterback rating the last 2 years. The better one was this past season. Jordan Love, 96.1, 2023, 96.7 this past year. And again, that's the NFL quarterback rating, not that stupid one ESPN has called QBR, which was so bad. They rated, was it the Vikings game where they rated Jordan Love as a higher QBR than Darnold, even though Darnold was like 37 of 39 for 400 or whatever. All right, he is the best free throw shooter in the NBA this season.
Steph Curry?
Steph Curry is correct. What's the Bucks record?
21 and 17?
That is correct. You're so good. How many NBA titles for Doc Rivers as a head coach? You
0.
said no, 1.
No, 1, 2008. Yeah.
Boston Celtics. How many NBA titles for Doc Rivers as a player?
Yeah,
0.
0.
You got that. How many Coach of the Year awards for Doc Rivers in the NBA? 1. You got that right. How old is the Brewers' Jackson Cheerio? You said 20. That's correct. Jackson Cheerios batting average last season within 10 points.
I think it was 275.
275 is exactly what it was. Brewers career batting average. He's number 1 at 307.
Jeff Cirillo?
Jeff Cirillo is correct. I think Paul Molitor's second and Cecil Cooper's up there. Yes, Brewers career stolen base stealing percentage, number 1. Bryce Terang is on the team, but it's a little late. And Brewers career best ever, a home run every 14.9 at bats. Richie Sexson, Prince Fielder was next at 15.3. Joe in Milwaukee, the greatest ever performance by a virgin rookie first-timer, 7. 7 hasn't normally won.
And our new current leader.
8 hasn't normally won either. But the rule is, Joe, because you're the leader, you can no longer compete until someone beats you. If someone comes up with an 8, then you're back in the running and you would be eligible again to compete.
Okay. I have heard this segment before, and I'm a longtime fan of you, Homer, from way back in the day.
Yeah. Back in the Old Testament, I appreciate it. I remember that incredible competition I had for the best show with Noah. Then he got into the ark, and then he kind of got out of the business, and that really helped me out. Thanks, Joe. 7. Nicely done. No way I saw 7 coming, especially when he didn't know Kevin O'Neill to start it off. But 7 it is. If he'd gone a little quicker. Pebble, did he fiddle and diddle too much?
A couple times here and there. He could have got a solid 8 or 9, I think.
Yes. And the questions were quick enough, so it wasn't like my questions took too much time, right?
Yeah, because that Terang one, he could have got it at the end if he didn't run out of time.
He would have certainly gotten that. I don't think he was going to get Richie Sexson either way, so that's probably the hardest. All right, 7 for Joe in Milwaukee. He now has the lead. Mike in Lake Mills can come back to compete. And Jason Wilde next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
Some debris on the ramp from Burleigh to northbound 41 going to be causing some issues. Right now, backups coming in from before Watertown Plank Road all the way up past Burleigh. Southbound, we've got backups from Silver Spring down past Capitol Drive. Eastbound 94, slowing down from 164 all the way to Brookfield Road, and then back on the brakes from 84th Street all the way to 35th. Westbound slowing down from 25th Street to Mitchell Boulevard, and then we got some delays on the bypass. Eastbound between the Hale Interchange and Forest Home. On the westbound side, slowing down from about 20th Street all the way past Loomis. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, snow showers, less than an inch of accumulation. It'll be breezy with a low of 20. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a high of 36. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga, 94.5 ESPN.
All day, every day. The Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you.
First off, there is not one team that's on the fringe that scares me.
800-990-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman.
What's the runway for Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh? Because I don't think that this thing is going to get fixed in one offseason. This is going to be a multi-year rebuild to get this team back to the point where they're able to go on deep playoff runs and compete for championships. This is not a situation where Mike Tomlin is going to flip a switch and all of a sudden the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to want to get to where they want to go in 2025. Last year, after they lost in the postseason, the owner came out and said, I'm tired of being one and done in the playoffs. Something about that has to change. And guess what? This year at the end of the season, it was even worse. Because at least in 2023, you could say we went into the playoffs winning 3 straight games. We had some momentum, even if it was with a hodgepodge at quarterbacks with Mason Rudolph and Mitch Trubisky. This year, you had Russell Wilson. It was worse. So how does this situation get any better?
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Something amazing is happening in networking. Organizations are scaling with less stress. That's because CDW is designing and implementing intelligent HPE Aruba networking solutions that simplify and secure operations. With automation at the center of your data center, growing pains can be a thing of the past. HPE Aruba Networking and CDW. Make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/Aruba.
Who's looking for a deal? Well, Cousin Subs has a better deal just for you. Cousin's new $10 meal deals are now available online only. Choose between a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub, a bag of chips or regular fry, a regular fountain beverage, and cookie at cousinsubs.com or on the mobile app for just $10. Now that's a better deal. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. Available at participating locations only. Offer subject to change without notice.
This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN. It's time for Jason Wilde on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
From Jason Wilde. Every day of the year, you go to WisconsinOnDemand.com, and there's a big thing. Jason Wilde, you hit it and just learn more about the Packers from all the things he says on 85 million shows. It's that easy. Fill your day, and you'll be smarter. Good afternoon. Good evening, Jason.
Hello, Stephen. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. All right, let's get to any of the important parties involved regarding the Green Bay Packers, any or all of them, and what they have said of note that you want to pass along.
Well, I think we probably need to start with Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated, or the MMQB, reporting that the Jets have now asked for permission, which the Packers have to grant. It's not like it's really asking, it's just informing them that they want to talk to Jeff Hafley for their head coaching job.
Are you surprised?
I'm not at all, but I think it's really interesting. And if I were him, I wouldn't go anywhere near the Jets. Nothing good seems to come out of New York for that organization, so I'm not interested in it, but it certainly is interesting, right?
Yes, I think both your particular points. If I'm Hafley, I don't know. I'd have to believe that I'm going to get other opportunities. If I do, then I wouldn't be interested. If I'm not sure how many opportunities I'll get, I'm jumping on any team that's interested in me as a head coach.
Well, I'm certainly taking the interview. Absolutely. But, again, like Ben Johnson probably could have taken some jobs last year, right? And he didn't really like any of them. Now, in retrospect, Washington gets Jaden Daniels. I bet that job's a lot more appealing right now, right? But maybe he didn't like the ownership or whatever it might be. So, yes, the thought process is always there's only 32 of these. So it's hard to turn them down. But I don't know how much more of a cautionary tale you could ask for than the way the New York Jets have operated for the last 15-plus years.
Yes, they're horrible. And I don't know what would attract you to do it, but
there's only 32 jobs.
Right.
That would be, seriously, that would be it.
Yeah, and again, to be if you were his agent, you'd tell him no unless you're not sure you're going to ever get another chance. And so then I would jump on it with all the concerns that you had, unless you feel like you could. I mean, it's all about who's your quarterback, right? Isn't that the first thing? Well, who's your owner is the first thing. Who's your GM is the second. They'll determine, the GM especially will determine your success. And then who's your quarterback?
Might also determine who your quarterback is, exactly.
Right.
So
if you don't have it
I mean,
already.
that just popped just now. So I thought, I thought it was interesting. It was also interesting that, the Bears had asked for permission to interview Adam Stenavich. They also broke from what they had been doing with.
That surprises me. Doesn't it surprise you?
No, I mean, again, I think it's pretty clear from both the Bears and from the Jets searches that they're interviewing, everybody and their brother. So I don't know ultimately who either of those teams will
right,
hire.
But when you're the
seem to be
offensive
looking
coordinator and the head coach does all the offense, it seems to me historically that's stupid to hire that person.
It has not been not many guys have gotten the job when they weren't at least the offensive coordinator who had play calling duties. You're right. But the paradigm has changed. I mean, Zach Taylor took the Bengals to a Super Bowl, and I'm pretty sure he was he wasn't even the offensive coordinator in LA before he got that job. I think he was the quarterback's coach.
Okay.
So I think, the proliferation of the McVay, Shanahan offense and young guys becoming head coaches instead of old crusty guys and quote-unquote retreads has changed the game. So maybe Jeff Hafley, who I think is 43, maybe there's a possibility there. Again, I'm not saying he's getting that job. I'm not saying Mike McCarthy's going to get the Bears job, but I'm hoping Mike McCarthy gets the Bears job. That would make it really, really interesting in a rivalry that I've kind of been hoping would become more relevant.
Yeah, I don't like the idea. I think they can do much worse. They've shown the ability to make terrible hires, and McCarthy's old, but it would still be a good hire. It would give some level of respect. And all I care about is how it makes it for the Green Bay Packers. I have no interest in good stories. We've debated this before. But yes, as far as the Packers, Jeff Hafley going to the Jets has to be added to the list. The percentage of that would appear pretty low. All right, then let's see. Devontae Adams going to the Packers. Is that worthy of a percentage equal to Hafley going to the Jets as a head coach?
Well, I would just put it this way, because I'm hoping to get him to come on with Tausch and me at some point, and he and I traded messages last night, and he had every opportunity during our exchange to say, "Hey, I'm not coming back to Green Bay. Like, I'm not ruling anything out, and I'm guessing the Jets are going to cut me, but the Packers are not high on my list of places I'd want to go." And because I mentioned the Kay Adams interview, and he pointed out that has become, he called it clickbait, but I don't think it's clickbait. I mean, it's interesting stuff that he said on a show. So if it was something that he wasn't interested in, or at least entertaining the idea of, then he wouldn't say it, right? Like, he wouldn't have talked the way he talked in that conversation with Kay Adams, no relation, about the idea or about the Packers in general or about Jordan Love, unless he took some lessons from Rodgers, who just liked to mess with the media from time to time.
No, I believe he'd like to come back to Green Bay. Tell me if I'm wrong, Jason.
No, I do too, and that's why I'm saying, he could have. Obviously, he knows that I do a lot of radio and that I certainly write and everything else. I mean, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I guess I'm relatively prominent in the Packers media realm.
You are not relatively. You are prominent. You're at the top. It's you, Demovsky, and I don't know. No one else is at that level. It's you too.
So my point is that he certainly would know that if this is not something that he's entertaining, I could easily say, "Hey, I talked to Devontae last night. This is I know there's been a lot of attention paid to the idea of him coming back to Green Bay if the Jets cut him. I can tell you that that's not something that he's considering. He was just talking on that show, and one thing leads to another. You know how conversations go." And again, he had every opportunity to tell me, "No, that's not something I'm interested in," and he didn't. So take that for what it's worth. I believe that he is open to that idea, but that, again, he never said anything the other direction either. Like, "Hey, start banging the drum for the Packers to bring me back," because he had that chance to say that in our conversation. And he didn't say that either. So
yeah, but that's not his style, right?
It's not, right? He's too cool for that. So he doesn't need me to be jabbering about it. So again, do I think that would be, how I feel about rooting for the story? It's also one of my favorite guys that I've covered. So
is he too old though? Do you need a younger, faster?
No, because here's the thing. And I did a story last season about this. all those young guys who are still obviously comparatively young. I think Devontae just turned 30 on the day after Christmas. Fact check me on that, Pebble. But he's at a different point than where he was even when he was traded to the Raiders, right? He's now, what is this, 3 seasons ago that was? His last season with the Packers was 21.
Pebble, what is he now? 32?
He's 32 now.
Yeah.
32. Wow, even older. So point being, he's not going to command the same type of money, and he's probably in a position where he is still capable of being a 1, but he can also be to these guys what Jordy Nelson was to him, which was a guy who was a number 1, who was willing to pass the torch and help in 2017 to get Devontae to the next level. And that's always been my beef with Goody, was that Goody told me at the scouting combine in 2018 after they cut Jordy and signed Jimmy Graham that he thought that if he kept Jordy, it would stunt Devontae's growth as a number 1. And this was even after that famous story in Dallas where Rodgers throws a bad pass on a late red zone opportunity to Devontae in the end zone. It's incomplete. Devontae comes back to the huddle and says, "Let's run that again, but throw me a better damn ball." It's Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers says, "Okay." And he throws a better ball and they win the game. And so Devontae already was the 1 in 2017.
And you believe
Rodgers
he would be a great veteran addition to the locker room.
Right, and I believe that's what Jordy was in the process of in 17, would have continued doing it in 18 had Goody not gotten rid of him and cut him. And I think Devontae could do that for the next 2-3 years. And if they, remember, they got a lot of cap space. They added some really good players in free agency. They've had a pretty good run the last several drafts. 21 wasn't a good draft, but 22, 23, and 24 look like good drafts. Another good draft. This is a Super Bowl team, and then Devontae gets to add a piece to his Hall of Fame resume that he currently doesn't have.
And is it accurate that he was concerned about how good Jordan Love was, and now that's changed?
Absolutely, but again, and I always do this, and I know for a segment of the fan base that want to believe that Jordan was just destined for greatness in the lineage of Favre Rodgers. He was not very good in 20 and 21 when Devontae's last 2 seasons were in Green Bay. I mean, Devontae was right about him then. What he was wrong about was that he would develop as much as he has. Again, if you think that Jordan Love, if you're Goody, even though it would be hard to do after back-to-back MVPs, but a guy that you really didn't like and really were ready to move on from, that's why you drafted Love in the first place, after back-to-back MVPs, but with the out of them losing that playoff game to San Francisco with the number 1 seed and Rodgers playing poorly in that game, they had the opportunity, Goody did, to say, all right, we're gonna send him to Denver. That was all the buzz, and gotten even more for him than the Seahawks got for Russell Wilson. And if Jordan Love was ready, you do that. And again, I know he had won back-to-back MVPs, but Jordan had not shown to that point how good he was going to become. So Goody didn't believe it. Devontae Adams didn't believe it. That's why Goody gave Rodgers the extension that he gave him. And the bottom line is now things have changed. I went from being the guy that would come on your show and say during training camp in 2020 and 2021, I never see this guy make any wow throws. You never hear me say that anymore. You hear me talk about the wow throws he makes. And that is how, and look, probably a good time to mention what an impact Tom Clements had on him. Tom Clements fixed his mechanics, improved his footwork, improved his throwing motion, taught him the game from the ground up, and was a huge blessing for him in 2022.
So why is he retiring?
Because he's 71 years old, and not everybody wants to work like you do.
He was 70 last year. Come on.
If he could, I think
you feel like my job is done? I've done it.
I think that's part of it.
Okay.
I think he's obviously retired twice before and been coaxed out of retirement first by Cliff Kingsbury and then by Rodgers/LaFleur. So I think he feels like he's done, not that Jordan's a finished product, but he's done all the things that Jordan needed him to do for him.
I know who should replace him.
If you say Dan Orlovsky, I'm hanging up.
No, whoever Clemens says hire. I just go to him. Who do we hire? What do you mean?
Well,
who do you think we should hire? We're going to hire him.
Right, and think about it. Obviously Clemens.
No, I would not do Orlovsky.
I know he's said a few things. I think he said something on McAfee too,
but he has a connection. Look, he has an inside with LaFleur, right? I mean, they're buds.
Yeah, but I would say this, and I'm not the biggest Dan Orlovsky fan, so you can.
Yeah,
say
you just can't move.
I'm not good at forgiveness. You're right. Yeah. You're right. I know. We have you on when you're doing stuff on YouTube, and now you're on TV. And anyway, I think Jordan Love is at a pivotal point in his career. I have a hard time believing someone who plays it as safe as Matt LaFleur tends to play it, that he would hire a guy that's currently working in television. Like, I understand he played in the league. I get all that. Believe it or not, I'm not slighting him. I'm sure he knows a lot about quarterbacking.
If he had taken another job first and now you would consider.
But again, he's got Sean Mannion, who was a quarterback in the league, a backup like Dan Orlovsky was. And look, backup quarterbacks are kind of like catchers as managers. Like, look at Doug Peterson, right? And
it appears they learn a lot of stuff by sitting on the bench.
Right. And so he's got Sean Mannion, who John Schneider and everyone who's come across him with the different teams he played for thought he was eventually going to be an NFL head coach. So you've had him for a year that you added. You've got Connor Lewis, who is really one of LaFleur's absolute favorites on the staff. And then about a month ago, he brought back the previously unemployed after being fired by the Bears and the Raiders, Luke Getsy, who had been the quarterback's coach before Clements and then left to become the Bears offensive coordinator under Eberflus, which opened the door for Clements to come back. Getsy's been around. So you have three guys in-house that all three of them are good candidates. So that, again, my grudges or lack of forgiveness.
No, it should be one of those three. You've just
You would think so.
Yeah.
Yes, you would think so.
All right, let's see. We dealt with Devontae Adams. We all.
What else you got on your checklist?
Well, no, it's
leadership.
It's all
vocal leadership.
I just need to have a talk with him. I just don't get it.
I'll send you his number.
Yeah, no, you just tell him. Homer says, like, you don't know the quarterback enough to know that he doesn't want to do it that way. Oh, but I'm going to tell you how you need to communicate with your players. Oh.
You understand, and this is what I didn't get to say to you this morning on our program. You understand that being vocal doesn't mean you have to be the yelling, scream in a guy's face, telling him he sucks.
Oh, I agree.
Right?
But you understand that he's been a certain way, and he said, I don't like to talk to players that way, and you don't need to tell him how to be. You need to let him be. Like you wouldn't, if you wanted Tausch and the offensive line to do better, you wouldn't tell Tausch, you know what? You need to talk to the offensive lineman, deciding how you think he should handle. Your problem is too many drop passes or whatever. There are other options to do it in a manner in which he's comfortable with, because he's already told you, and he's not comfortable doing this. But you still think that's what we got to tell him to do this.
Well, I think what I would say is that there are ways to be yourself and just slightly tweak the way you go about certain things. Like,
let him decide that.
Right, but again, if I'm going to side with you on anything about this, I would say it was the fact that it was the instantaneous answer that LaFleur gave to the question about where he needs to take his next
act in a
step.
manner similar to the guy who was there before him.
Well, I don't think he's asking Rodgers.
No, but that's
I don't think that's
Rodgers would talk to players more, right? There's not exactly like Rodgers. He just picked the way that Rodgers used to do.
But again, the more vocal can be, pointing things out during team meetings and giving him more of a voice to say in front of the room, even if it's, say, embarrassing to LaFleur. What if we do this instead? Like wanting him to do that sort of thing. wanting him to.
Jason, can I say, don't you think that crossed Jordan Love's mind at this point? They clearly believe enough in him as a person that if he had wanted to do this, he would have done it. But he's chosen not to.
Right, but sometimes to be good at things, you have to step out of your comfort zone, and you need to be challenged a little bit to do things. Just not change who you are, but change the way you do something already to make it a little bit more effective and a little better.
Agree.
And my
but who decides that? Not the head coach. Jordan Love decides that. It's done privately, and he says to Jordan Love.
No. If you're a parent, and
yes.
I'm really lucky, right? The girls are amazing. I don't take any parenting credit. They have made it so easy, and I know parents who have it way more challenging with challenging kids. I am not. I am lucky that I have that. But I can also have a conversation with Madison or with Sydney about, all right, what if you do this way, and maybe it's more effective? Like when she has had, the typical girl drama, I love talking it out with her. And we always talk about how communication can usually solve just about anything. So, and
would you ever change your approach if you realized it didn't serve her well because she's not you?
Sure.
Now, Jordan Love is not the same age as your daughter. He's a $50 million quarterback that you've already been around with a number of years.
I understand that.
Okay.
But I think Matt LaFleur can have the kind of conversation of, all right, well, here's what you're doing. What if you tried it this way? And it's not, again, screaming and yelling and being someone you're not. And so I can just say, and again, I understand he's an NFL quarterback, not a 13-year-old basketball, volleyball, soccer, gymnastics, whatever. But I do think that Matt LaFleur has the relationship. To me, the issue here, if there is an issue, which I don't really think there is, but the one point that I would give you, it's saying it out loud to all of us makes it a talking point. And so that, I would say, was maybe a misstep. But the idea of expecting him to be more vocal in a way that he's comfortable is not unreasonable.
Okay.
And we can agree to disagree, but that's what I think.
Very good. Thanks, Jason.
All right, Homer, take care. Be good.
Jason Wilde, all Packers all the time. Tim Van Vorn isn't next, but he's soon. I am next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up on ESPN Wisconsin. Join Homer on the trip of a lifetime to see the many shades of Ireland in August. Text Homer to 800-990-3776 for info.
Well, things are backing up on 41 southbound. We've got a crash right at Burleigh off on the right shoulder. Slowdowns coming back in from Silver Spring down to that point. Northbound, we've got backups all the way from Blue Mound Road all the way up past Burleigh. Delays eastbound 94 coming in from 92nd Street all the way through to 35th. The westbound side's heavy from 16th Street all the way to Hawley Road. And then 43, got a little bit of a backup there. Southbound from Fond du Lac Avenue down through the Marquette and over the high rise to about Lapham. The northbound side's backing up past Fond du Lac Avenue all the way past north to Sutter Street. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight. Snow showers, less than an inch of accumulation. It'll be breezy with a low of 20. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a high of 36. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Kevin Moret for Mentality. Guys, carrying extra weight around your midsection doesn't just make you feel bad, it changes how people see you. It makes you look tired, stuck, and feel like you've given up. But that's not you. Low testosterone is often the real problem. Most new Mentality clients start with only 1/3 of the free testosterone they need, which makes fat almost impossible to lose. Our doctors fix the imbalance and use semaglutide to burn the belly fat while keeping you lean and strong. Take back control this year. Visit mentalityhealth.com/radio for our New Year offer. That's mentalityhealth.com/radio.
UW Credit Union presents the Student Athlete of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. UW Credit Union is here for every you. Learn more at uwcu.org. Here's Ashton Rotman with the UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week.
This week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week is Racine Lutheran boys basketball player Sam Pitroff. The 6'4" junior senior, averaging 17.4 points per game this season, up a tick from his sophomore season, which saw him average just over 15 points a game. And of those games, a couple of big ones, back-to-back wins last week against Martin Luther and Dominican. 38 total points in those two games. The combo guard turning it over less than 2 times a game as well for the now 12-0 Racine Lutheran Crusaders. Petrov, as a sophomore, finished second-team All-Metro Classic Conference and is looking to top that with his 2024-25 campaign. Congratulations to this week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, Racine Lutheran Crusaders boys basketball player Sam Petrov.
Do you want to have more fun watching the NFL playoffs? Try playing Sleeper Picks. Just download the Sleeper app today and pick more or less on at least 2 players' projected stats. You can win up to 100 times your cash. For a limited time, Sleeper has a special offer. New users have to just play $5 and they'll receive $55 in free entries. Just download the Sleeper app today and use code BRAD, B-R-A-D. Must be 18 years or older. Promo code, location, and other restrictions apply. Minimum deposit $25. See terms of use for details. Please play responsibly. Call 1-800-426-2537 for help.
Bring in the new year at your local Milwaukee Metro Region Kunis Auto Group dealerships. If it's the new year, it's time for a new ride. So plan on driving into 2025 in style at a Kunis Auto Group dealership near you. Your Milwaukee Metro Region Kunis dealerships feature America's best-selling brands from both Buick and GMC, all at nearby locations in Oak Creek and Greenfield. During January, every remaining new 2024 vehicle plus thousands of select pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs are all being discount price to sell. We've got to make immediate room for hundreds of incoming new 2025s, as well as hundreds of fresh trade-ins from the holiday season. We're paying top values on all trades, no matter what the mileage or condition. Don't forget to check out individual dealership websites for pre-owned vehicles super specials. Plus, January service specials on everything from oil changes, tires, and brakes. Ring in big New Year savings at your nearby Milwaukee Metro Region Kunis Auto Group dealerships, or shop online at shopkunis.com.
You're listening to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
1, 2, 1.
Yeah, we have Tim Van Voorn, Fox 6 Sports, coming up in a bit. Please help people affected by the California wildfires. Donate at redcross.org/ESPN. I don't say you should. It should just be a question of how much. Everybody's amount is going to be different, but everybody, 100% should donate at redcross.org/ESPN to help the Red Cross respond and help people recover. And yes, I will be making a donation. It's just horrible. I've lived there at Santa Monica. It was like right on the beach, right next to the water, and everything was just scorched. How can you be that close to the water and be scorched? Shouldn't they have like boats where you have those huge water things coming out? Like, I don't know, maybe that's from cartoons or movies that I've seen. Holtebeck Eye Center, Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team met with them at their Brookfield office, and it's real simple. He just wants to deal with and take care of as many people as possible with all the issues. Says, make your vision care top priority with the latest technologies at their state-of-the-art office. Doing it for 20 years, and then says, I got to do better. So he adds to his team the addition of Dr. Nausheen Abbas. Don't mess with your vision. Trust the experts and the growing number of experts from Holtebeck Eye Center in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Cabell. Don't care what your age is. Don't care what the problem is. They are the best at everything. Learn more about their services at holtebeck.com. The biggest Bucks fans deserve big Bucks prizes, and now's time to show us yours. Bucks, if you already have a Bucks tattoo or a design in mind, your time to shine is now. Send a picture of your Bucks ink at ESPN Milwaukee on social media by next Monday, and you could win 2 lower-level tickets to see the Bucks take on Denver. And while you send in your Bucks ink to ESPN Milwaukee on social media, don't forget to vote for your favorite Bucks to head to the Bay for the 2025 All-Star Game. Vote now at bucks.com/all-star. Do you have a Bucks tattoo, Pebble?
I do not. No,
I
no tattoos.
I don't think you're eligible anyway. I don't think we could.
No, not if you work here. No,
not if you work here. So again, if you have a Bucks tattoo, I guess you could get one between now and then, or a design in mind. Your time to shine is now. Picture of your Bucks ink at ESPN Milwaukee and social media by Monday. I don't know what time or what all that specific, so do it soon. Tim Van Voorn, Fox 6 Sports, next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN. It doesn't matter if it's your first betting slip ever or just the first one of the week. We've got your Potawatomi sportsbook picks covered. Tune in Wednesdays to the Weekly Wager with Greg Matzik, Ben Brust, and Jen Latta.
If someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything, you take it.
The Weekly Wager, Wednesday nights at 6, right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel.
Homer here. I'm inviting you to join me starting August the 9th, as we explore the many shades of Ireland with Colette Vacations, a 10-day journey filled with legendary views, historic expeditions, and unforgettable tales. Explore the historic city of Dublin, kiss the famous Blarney Stone, and stand on the spectacular cliffs of Moher. We'll also journey Ireland's breathtaking countryside and follow the stunning coastal route of the Ring of Kerry. We'll experience the daily life of an Irish family with a dairy farm visit, and even enjoy a taste or two at a historic whiskey distillery. Plus, there's a stay overnight in a medieval castle. Join me for all of these experiences and many more. Visit ESPNMilwaukeeTravel.com for trip information. Colette handles all the details of the 10-day excursion, the flights, the meals, the hotels, the experience. Don't worry about it. Your only job is to have the time of your life. Don't miss it. Visit ESPNMilwaukeeTravel.com or text Homer to 800-990-3776. Homer, 800-990-3776.
James Imaging Systems. Local support, local accountability, local business technology representatives. Listen to Matheson Manufacturing President Al Leidinger.
She still checks in to see how things are going and if we need anything. So I really do appreciate that from a customer service standpoint.
Michael Quizan, IT Systems Administrator at Great Midwest Bank, discovered the benefits of working with the local team at James.
Our cost from supplies perspective went down. I mean, we're talking about thousands in a year. So we saved a lot of money by bringing James Imaging on.
James Imaging Systems client Luther Gray, Director of Ticket Operations and Group Sales with the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra, on dealing with James.
They are making sure you get the full value and life of every product that you have with them.
Local support, local accountability, local people. Get it all with James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Kyle Walsh for Universal Windows Direct. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. There is no limit and no payments for 3 whole years. Restrictions apply. If you already have a price quote, they'll beat it. Schedule your free in-home estimate today.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
With your Saganiac Planning Marquette recap, I'm Chris Larson. Make it 6 straight Big East wins for number 7 Marquette after an 85-83 overtime win at DePaul. Senior guard Cam Jones finished with 18 points, 11 assists, and 6 rebounds. His 4th double-double of his career, all coming this season.
In the corner, Joplin. He'll fake again. Cam Jones open 3. Good.
Big time.
Oh, baby, is he big. Marquette within 1.
Next up for the 15-2 Golden Eagles, a matchup with Xavier Saturday afternoon at Fiserv Forum.
Network Health knows that good health knows no age limit. That's why they offer superior local health plans for individuals of all generations. Whether you're a young professional, a growing family, or enjoying your golden years, plan is designed to meet your unique healthcare needs. For more about Network Health's business, individual, or Medicare Advantage plans, call Eric Pearson, Saganiac Planning, 262-783-6161. Eric, 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service.
Rainman is brought to you by Cousin Subs. Enjoy a $10 meal deal when ordered online. Visit cousinsubs.com or the Cousins app. Cousin Subs, they believe in better. Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN. The 3 most important letters in sports. Even better than those.
TVV.
It's Fox 6 Sports Director Tim Van Voren on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
No one analyzed the Green Bay Packers better the entire season than Tim Van Voren, Fox 6 Sports, 3-time Wisconsin Sportscaster of the Year. He should win 4th just for his perfect analysis of the Packers. Good evening, TVV.
Homer, you're the best.
How did you know? How you all year? You said exactly. It's just not there. And they played exactly like that against Philly, right? You had to be watching going, Yep, that's the team I've been talking about. Am I right?
Well, I would say, yes, that's how they played, and I would say I thought Philadelphia was very beatable, but not with what the Packers offered as resistance.
Do you have any comment on the year, or is it just let's move forward as to what needs to be done? Because that's what I want to ask you next.
I'm more in the disappointed camp. I know that you can spin it either way. I would say the Packers should be disappointed. They got to 11 wins pretty early. They beat teams that really weren't very good when you got right down to it. They never really got into that flow of good play. And so I would say they were not as good as they thought they would be. So to me, that's a disappointment. It is 11 wins. It's another playoff berth. It's a step toward the future. I think all those things are true. But I would term it a disappointment, not just because they lost 4 of their last 6 games, their final 3. They never really found it all year long.
And since you analyze it, well, why? What is there a part that was most disappointing? Is there a part that was most surprising? Take it to the next thought.
The defense surprised me. I thought the defense was pretty strong as the season went along, and now we hear Jeff Hafley interviewing for the Jets head coaching job. I wouldn't think he'd be a leading candidate there, but when's the last time a Packers defensive coordinator got a head coaching interview anywhere? So I think it was noticed around the league. I think the offense was what let the Packers down more than anything else. Just never got the flow there. Never hit the groove. I don't have an easy explanation for why. I think the emphasis on the run game cost the pass game. I didn't see a lot of innovation this year. I think the expectation for growth of certain players was not there this year. People talk about the wide receiver group by the end of the year. Well, sure. Going into the season, what did you think of the wide receiver group? In your heart of hearts, Homer, didn't you think Dontavian Wicks was ready to do much more than he did this season? To me, that was a major drawback. Jaden Reed, you and I talked about many times during the course of the season, early in the year, how good he was and productive he was. As the season went along, very limited production for Jaden Reed.
Yep.
I thought the tight end, Tucker Kraft had a nice year, but his impact waned as the season went along as well.
Yes, and why? They run the ball better, and that the pass game gets worse. No, it doesn't work like that. You run the ball better, that makes your passing game better. In fact, I say today, you run in order to make the passing game better because the passing game is always the more important thing. But I haven't had anybody say, well, yeah, this is kind of what happened. I mean, I'll ask you. They were a better offensive team when Willis was the quarterback this season. Not saying he's better. They were a better offensive team when he was the quarterback. True or not?
I'm not with you on that.
All right.
That's anecdotally. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'm not with you on that. But I would say this. I think they certainly ran the ball often. You had one running back. He was the guy. He answered the bell every week. That was what you went into the season to do, and they accomplished that. In my mind, by accomplishing that, they went away from what you need to be able to do in the NFL today. You need to be able to pass the football. As you said, it's more important. You need to be able to get down the field. Even when Christian Watson was out there, they were not regularly getting down the field. They do well in the explosive plays category. Okay, statistically, to me, this is one of those statistics that's kind of misleading because they do well in the explosive plays category. But then I think back, how many key explosive plays just in my mind comes right to my mind? It's a short list.
And many of them passes were short. It was weird stuff where you didn't go, they just whooped them on that play. It's like, well, the defensive back messed up or the ball was thrown short.
And in multiple situations, they would gain 30 yards of the pass to Tucker Kraft or 30 yards early in the season with the pass to Jaden Reed, and then they didn't punch it in the end zone anyway.
Yep.
Those are the plays you remember.
All right, now here's where we got to have you. What do you do now? Now, does LaFleur work in the offseason? What do you do? Because this is a situation I don't have an answer to because I didn't think it was a problem.
Well, I think he has to go back to what he was best at, and that is scheming receivers open. Matt LaFleur's very good at that. I didn't see a lot of that this year.
And not worry about what effect it has on Jacobs.
Well, I think, now Jacobs Jacobs is good. Jacobs gets a lot of those yards on his own. My goodness, I'm not knocking the line.
But
I'm
I mean,
just saying
Jacobs has to take a back seat to what TVV saying. You have to address this and deal with this.
You have to pass better. I don't know that means Jacobs has to take a back seat, but this year they got off kilter. They focused on the run at the expense of the pass, and it really hurt them. And the expectation, I think, of that offense, yeah, it's great that we're running more, but now we need to go down the field. I don't think they believed in it. I just don't. I think we saw time after time after time.
They don't believe in it.
Last year, Homer, I came away, and I'm going to say, I think the Packers felt the same way almost to a man. After the playoff fight, I didn't think they would go down to Dallas. When they lost to San Francisco, I thought, man, they could have beaten anybody. They were rocking it. They could have beaten anybody in this field. This year after the playoffs, I think they were lucky to be on the field with these teams. You know, it was an entirely
even with the better defense,
vibe.
Even with the running back.
Yes, even with a lot of health. I mean, you know, Jair Alexander, Christian Watson are big injuries. But almost every team suffers some big injuries, and Christian Watson played the bulk of the season. They were pretty healthy.
No, you nailed it. They didn't have anything. They had nothing.
It was a funny year.
Yeah.
It was really a funny year to me. How many memorable plays from this season just come right to your mind, Homer?
No, and they were all, and you wanted to lead. I mean, my memory is thinking that Jaden Reed would be so good and he disappeared. All right, now let's go ahead. Do you believe Devontae Adams will be on the Packers next season? TVV, yes or no?
I don't, only because of his age. It's the kind of move I could see the Packers making. I think it makes some sense, to be honest with you. But it just goes against their playbook.
All right, no Devontae Adams.
Players.
Do they need, number one, top of the list, a number one wide receiver to address what you said is passing better? That's at the top of the food chain.
I think they have. I think without Christian Watson, I don't think they now believe that their receivers are a group that has a number one wide receiver there, and I think that they should address that. Yes, I do believe they had legitimate belief going into last season that they would have a number one receiver. Either Watson or Wicks would step forward, maybe Reed, and it didn't turn out that way.
I care about only one thing about next season. You know what that is?
What, Homer?
TVV better damn well like that team more. Thanks. Travel fans.
Always great, Homer.
Yep. Well, you deserve everything and even more. You nailed it. Any better? I don't know if anybody could or did. Travel plans. Listen up. Explore the many shades of Ireland with Colette Vacations and me. August the 9th. Heading off on an unbelievable journey. Explore the historic city of Dublin. Kiss the famous Blarney Stone. Stand on the spectacular cliffs of Moher. Visit an Irish dairy farm. Enjoy a taste or two at the historic whiskey distillery. Stay in a medieval castle. And meet my wife, Nancy, and go, wow, Homer. Nice job. Colette handles all the booking. All you have to do is visit ESPNMilwaukeeTravel.com, ESPNMilwaukeeTravel.com, or text Homer. Text Homer 1-800-990-3776. Weekly wager show, otherwise known as What is Jen Latta's Pick? I'd save that till last. That's next.
And wrapping things up with a couple of issues. First of all, we do have an